My sister-in-law just had her first baby. I'm pretty excited because I'm an aunt. But I'm also celebrating both my girls' birthdays. And both of these events have had me reflecting on all of the things that I have learned as a mom in these first 5 years. So if you are wanting to become a calm, patient, confident mother, you are going to enjoy today's episode. Welcome to the Slowish Parenting Podcast. I'm your host, Alexis. I'm a mama to 2 little girls and a parenting coach. I help moms who are burned out, tired, and stressed feel happy and confident so they can enjoy a little more ease in their daily life. If you want to unlearn parenting and awaken your innate design, then you're in the right place. Alrighty, let's get into today's episode. Hello, you guys, and welcome back to another episode. I'm recording this at night, so this is probably a little bit of a different vibe. I'm figuring out lighting and stuff, but I just decided to press record because this is a very timely to me episode and one that has just been on my mind. I recently got back from a 20-day trip with my family, which was amazing and beautiful, and went exponentially better than I had ever expected it to. But I just have so many thoughts and I want to share them with you. I want you to hear them raw and real. And so that's why you're getting this episode the way it is tonight. A little unfiltered, I guess I should say, like literally unfiltered. But anyway, so a couple exciting things. So one, this time of year is my girls' birthdays. My girls are just shy of 2 years apart. And so they fall about, I think they're like technically 23 months apart. So their birthdays fall almost exactly a month apart. And I find myself reflecting a lot this time of year. I find myself, well, I guess going through my experiences, I'm remembering back to those moments, those first moments of becoming a mom. And for those of you who don't know, I was a first-time NICU mom with my first, and that was really traumatic and scary. She had something called tachypnea. She healed and everything was better, and she's healthy, 5-year-old now. But then I had my second, and she was diagnosed with a rare congenital heart defect about 2 days after birth, something we had no idea to even prepare for. No family history, nothing. So this was absolutely devastating, scary, awful, just flipped my whole world upside down. And I think as I'm approaching their birthdays and remembering their entry into this world, I'm also finding myself grateful for everything that I've learned along the way. That every experience, even those really hard ones, the ones where I was raging and angry and frustrated and miserable as a mom, they led me to do YouTube. They led me to begin coaching. They led me to go back to school so I could start coaching. Like, it was all these experiences that brought me here. And I truly, I'm not even going to lie. Like, I'm happy as a mom. I'm content. Motherhood is coming with ease. Now, granted, my kids are 5 and 3, so the ages are helping. But this is exactly what I wanted. This life that I'm living right now. Like I said, I just went on a 20-day trip. I mean, granted, there were some moments where I didn't handle things the way I would have wanted to. But I also had empathy and compassion for myself. And I came back from the trip being like, Mama, you did good. I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of you for just enduring all of that, being basically a single mom during this 20-day trip, not having, a lot of extra help. Now, granted, I was staying with my parents, so if I really needed something, I did have their help, but that also meant I had to ask for it, which is something that's not easy. It's not something that comes naturally to me. So yeah, I think that this time of year really has me reflecting on where I was and where I am now. But something else very exciting happened. I became an aunt, and I got to watch my sister-in-law go through those first early moments of postpartum and motherhood. I got to see her just experience the things that I wanted to experience, but I got to like be there and help her through some of the things that I wouldn't have known had I not been an NICU mom. You know, how to latch your baby. Like, I had to latch my babies with cannulas. I didn't get to just pop them on and nurse. It wasn't that simple. So like showing her how to do it and having tips and tricks because I've done it all, right? Maybe not all, but I've done a lot. I've been around a lot. You know, I've had to figure a lot of stuff out. I have oversupply because I'm pumping and it's like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? I feel like I was able to be there and be that community and that support system for her. And so today's episode is just kind of this big aha moment, I guess, of just some of the things that I've learned over the last 5 years, the things that I hope that will bring you encouragement, that you get to be the mom that you want to be, that you get to be calm and patient and loving and pathetic and nurturing and that ooey gooey honey. You get to be all of it. And you don't have to wait. You can just start today. You can start right now with this episode. I think this is a huge step in becoming the mom you really want to be. So the first thing that I learned as a mom is that kids aren't inherently bad. They don't want to be bad. I can't tell you a single adult that even wants to actually hurt their parent. They may want to hurt them because they have an unmet need, which is something I teach in the Calm Mama Blueprint. We talk a little bit about feelings and needs in there. And really the base, I guess the concept that is shared in nonviolent communication, which is that our behaviors, our child's behaviors, are just a reflection of an unmet need. It's their best attempt to get that need met. When we look at it from that light, what we see is, we as mamas are not attuning to our child. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. But it's important to remember that if we're constantly worried about what we're plucking out of our child and we're not getting to the root, if we just understand like our child has a need, and the need isn't basic needs. Like we're not talking like food, water, tired, sleep, whatever, those needs. We're talking like your child wants to be seen. They want autonomy. They want choice. They want independence. Maybe they need touch. Maybe they need to be heard. Heard is a really big one for kids, especially with phones. I have a client who came to me and her daughter was 3 and constantly having meltdowns and being destructive and hitting. She couldn't figure out why. And so we came to this understanding that she had this need to be heard. But we realized that these destructive behaviors were happening when she was on her phone. And how much is this distracting us from what really matters, from our kids? They should be seen. They should be heard. And maybe kids are having more behavioral issues today because of the phone, because mom and dad don't know how to put it down, because we haven't been taught how to emotionally regulate ourselves, which is something I'll get to in a minute. But I do believe that we as parents need to unlearn the belief that there are bad feelings and there are good feelings. And that when our child displays that they're even feeling a bad feeling, that child should be punished, that child should be hurt. They have something real going on for them, just like it's real for you. You probably have an unmet need as well. That's probably why you're behaving the way you are. For me, with rage, I was absolutely behaving in ways that I shouldn't have because I didn't feel supported. I needed help. I needed to be seen, to be heard, to be loved and nurtured. And so that's why I was responding the way I was. So no, I don't believe kids are bad. I don't believe that they're trying to be bad. I believe that there's an unmet need that just needs to be met. Okay, the second thing is to use rhythms instead of schedules. Schedules were stressing me out. I actually share my whole morning rhythm in my morning rhythm video. I'll make sure to link it. But in this video, I go through this idea of unstructuring our morning. We still get all the same things done, but we're not worried about the exact time. Something that I've been working on recently is bedtime. I just found my kids were just struggling to go to sleep. And, it dawned on me one night that, okay, just like me, like some nights I go to bed at 9, some nights I go to bed at 10, I kind of have a window. It's not like the same exact time every night. And so instead of getting frustrated and mad at my kids every night, I give myself a window and I say, okay, when my kids start acting sleepy between 8 and 9, I'm going to put them to bed. We're going to get the ball rolling, get them ready for bed. That doesn't mean that I don't follow the same structure. I mean, some nights we brush our teeth and then take a bath and then pull up on and then read books. Other nights we take a bath and put a pull-up on and put pajamas on and brush our teeth, then read a book, It doesn't always have to look the same. And I think this is kind of where feminine energy comes in, if you're familiar with that. But just kind of softening, allowing your body to be attuned to what your child's needing and being able to kind of flow through that. And it takes so much pressure off. We don't actually have to be stuck in this rigid schedule. I just don't think women are for schedules. I just don't think we thrive there. But again, that's just kind of something that I've learned from studying feminine energy. Okay, the third thing that I've learned in the last 5 years is the most selfless thing we can do as a mother is to take care of ourselves. I know moms believe in the belief system of being a martyr to motherhood, being a martyr to our children. And I was in that limiting belief system for a very long time. I thought that made me a good mom, being selfless. But everything around me was crumbling. Everybody was unhappy. If we look at ourselves as the emotional powerhouse, we know and we believe that we actually matter. Like our health, our mental health, our nervous system health, which we'll get to in a minute, it matters. It affects our children. I like to think here of the analogy of the oxygen mask, when you're flying and they tell you to put your oxygen mask on before your child. And I think as a mother, like intuitively, our first thing is like, take care of the child, right? But what if we knew and we could take a half second to put on our oxygen mask first, because we know we can help our child more and better if we put theirs on second? I think that we have to think of taking care of ourselves like that. And I don't mean, by the way, taking care of ourselves like going and getting our nails done, getting our hair done. Like that's not what I mean. I don't do any of that. My nails are never done. You guys probably noticed that. My hair is always up. I like to do my hair. I used to be a hairdresser, so I enjoy doing it. But I'm not like, I don't know, that's not self-care to me. To me, self-care is in those micro moments. It's acknowledging that I have a cup of water that has lemon in it and it tastes so good. It kind of is a little sour, but it's cold, or maybe it's room temperature. Maybe you have a coffee and you're smelling the coffee. You're feeling the cup, like I can feel the lines on this cup. That's self-care. Self-care is taking care of yourself in these little micro moments. It's about taking an extra second to acknowledge the fact that you're washing your hands. It just feels so good to wash your hands. You're feeling and watching the water run under your hands. It's about slowing down and allowing ourselves to be in that present moment. We don't have to be there forever. We don't have to, stay stuck in that. We don't have to disconnect from our child, but we get to be there for ourselves. We get to be there in that moment for us because our child needs us to be healthy for them to thrive and survive. Or survive and thrive, I guess. Because a child can be living, functioning, but not thriving. not growing and maturing, I would say emotionally, like they really need to be. Okay, the fourth thing I've learned in the last 5 years is that our nervous system directly affects our child. I go back to the early days of motherhood, and I thought sleep was something something is wrong with my supply. My baby is gassy. Like I had all these things as to why my babies weren't sleeping. And now that I've done the work that I do, I so believe that our child is our mirror. And I believe that our nervous system, the health of our nervous system, directly affects our child. And so I can remember rocking my baby and feeling like I'm not going to be able to put her to sleep because she's never going to go to sleep. She's going to be up for hours. And she would be up for hours because I was so trapped in my own thoughts and I was in fight or flight. I couldn't come down into calm. I didn't have safety. So my child didn't feel safe. And now my kids go to bed in like 5 seconds flat. You know, they lay in bed and go to sleep when I'm in there. It's easy. There's no thought. But it's because I've healed my nervous system. I mean, not perfectly. I still have moments, obviously, but I feel like I'm getting to a healthier place where most of the time I'm very well regulated. If you have no idea about the nervous system, there's so many resources out there. I love Irene Lyon, but I also have my rage calming tools. You can comment calm below and I will send you them. There's 14 of them. They're completely free, but you can learn some of the ways that I began regulating myself, the ways that I began to calm my body, show my body that there is safety, that there is calm, that I'm going to be okay, that my child's going to be okay. And healing our nervous system begins with these just little moments of calming, finding safety, peace in our own body. If that sounds completely crazy and foreign to you, you're going to love the calming tools because they're going to help you to learn how to do that in these little moments. Okay, the last thing, which I think is the most important. Happiness isn't the goal. Contentment is. I've done multiple videos on this. And I think so many moms resonate with this idea because for me, I believed that I needed to get to the mountaintop. And when I got to the mountaintop, I would be happy. But I didn't realize that I was going to actually come back down the mountaintop at some point. And I was going to have to travel back up another mountain. But with contentment, it's kind of just like little waves that keep going. I mean, some are bigger than others, but you're never climbing Mount Everest. And Mount Everest is impossible. Not everybody makes it up there. It'd be really sad to never experience happiness. But with contentment, I can have moments of complete joy and just savor in that. And I can also have really dark valleys and learn how to come out of it quicker with more resiliency. Something that we all want to teach our children is resiliency. And so I'm going to link the whole entire playlist here for the happiness and contentment thing because I have so many thoughts on it. And I like I said, I could sit here for hours and talk about this. I love this idea of contentment. But I just wish in those early days that I could have shifted my mind from I just want to be happy. You know, my child has a heart defect and I'm never going to be happy because I'm always going to be worried. I'm always going to be in fear. But what if I knew that like fear was just part of the game? Like the other night we had friends over and they were talking about surgery and I started thinking about how my daughter is going to have to go through this like really long open heart surgery and how like every year we just keep putting it off and there's like this anticipation of it coming and I'm not actually fearful of it, but like I'm also like I'm scared because of like all the things that can happen and there's just all the thoughts, all the things are going on. But I wish I knew that that was just going to be a moment. And it wasn't going to take up like a week of my time. Like now I can have that conversation and I can let it go after dinner. Like, I mean, honestly, 10 seconds after we stopped talking about it, I forgot. I didn't think about it till I was sitting here now. I won't go to bed, sit up thinking about it. I mean, imagine not laying awake in your bed at night, constantly thinking of all these things, you know? And again, that's what I teach in the Calm Mama Blueprint. Like, that's why I created it, because I wish someone told me that, like, I had to emotionally regulate myself. I had to learn how to be there for me. I had to be attuned to my body to be able to attune to my child. And I mean, all of these I feel like have similar themes, but it starts with you. That's why my content is not about how to parent your child. You will know exactly how you want to parent that child when you know yourself, when you know and you feel confident in who you are and how you're showing up as a mom. So I want to thank you for being here for today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode, would you please give it a thumbs up? If you're not yet subscribed, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. If you have a mom friend who needs some encouragement, maybe you could send us to her this week. Give her a hug. Maybe you just need to send her a message saying, hey, I was thinking of you. Here's this episode. Sometimes we just want to be seen. Maybe she'll watch it, maybe she won't, but at least you kind of came into her world, reminded her that you were thinking of her. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, make sure that you leave them below. But aside from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next episode.